But why did black people say that they felt healed from watching Anthony Joshua break Jake Paul's jaw in two places? Like, why was that a healing event for us? And to understand that, you got to understand the wound that Jake Paul opened up with the business model of boxing, specifically that he did. Because that's not just great white hopeism. That's older than that. That's from the tradition of Mandingo fighting. Now, a lot of y'all seen this from Django Unchained, but the fact is, on the slave plantations, part of the buck breaking process was Mandingo fighting, where they would get the two biggest, blackest dudes on the plantation, the slaves, and fight them together. And then it wasn't just that they fought for entertainment. It was that the master would get the winner drunk, then beat the drunk slave and stand above him like he earned it. See, Jake Paul is the epitome of didn't earn it DEI. You didn't earn Mike Tyson. You didn't earn Anderson Silva. You didn't earn Tyron Woodley in their primes. You just got to beat their rep when they were out of it. He got there because of money. Not just because of the abundance of money that he had from whatever thing in YouTube he exploited to get that money, but the fact that often fighters are left financially struggling when their careers are over. You see, Francis Ngannou, who Anthony Joshua also knocked out, was fighting against Dana White to try to get some kind of retirement, some kind of pension, some kind of health care for fighters when they leave the UFC. Because unless you make a huge purse, you don't even have that as a boxer. It's the fact that Jack Johnson and Joe Louis did bouts like this, these exhibitions, in order to make money because they were deprived of all the opportunities they could have had due to racism for them being champions in America in the first place. It's the fact that Jake Paul could have just did it the regular way. See, it's not the fact that there aren't great white fighters out there. Usyk, great. Klitschko, great. Calzaghe, great. But do it like them, face brothers, fairly. White masculinity has always had this unnecessarily competitive relationship with black masculinity. And it's older than slavery. It goes back to the Greek days, to the Roman days, and how Ethiopian fighters would dominate as gladiators in the arena. But for black fighters, it's always been about the love of the game. And the love of the game is what Anthony Joshua has. And here you got Jake Paul getting high off his own supply, believing his own hype, and finally getting a universal chin check from a dude who looked like basically the end point of human evolution. Anthony Joshua looked like what humans will look like in 10,000 years. Okay, this is a specimen of a dude who basically looked like a lab-grown heavyweight champion. And because Anthony Joshua had been off for a little while, and it's not the fact that a guy Jake Paul's size couldn't beat a guy Anthony Joshua's size, but he thought that the game was rigged in his favor. That's him believing his own hype. The heavyweight championship is the most prestigious honor in all of sports. And it's the fact that Jake Paul was cutting the line with privilege. It's just disgusting. Because if you look at the fighters that he could have fought, why didn't he fight retired white fighters? Like, how come you didn't want to fight, let's say, a Calzaghe, a Klitschko, Conor McGregor? Like, how come you didn't want to fight these guys? Why was it always fighting the black retired fighter with the hugest rep, trying to basically prey on that and make it yours as if you got it the way that you're supposed to get it, by blood, sweat, and tears? I mean, that looked like a lost episode of Jackass. Y'all remember Jackass back in the early 2000s when these like guys would go and do completely disastrous things for a laugh and for clout? This looked like he got in there like with the intention to hurt himself. It was so bad. So yeah, go ahead and hold this L, Jake Paul. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, well, he could hold that L with $92 million. And I'm like, you're right. Jake Paul got paid. His bag is real. But will it continue to be? Because there's a real possibility that the hype train and the bag are intimately connected, in that Anthony Joshua just knocked the potential of another payday out of Jake Paul's future. Well, we'll see. But coming out dressed like Hulk Hogan, knowing how racist he was, knowing that you're just exploiting an old, dark archetype in the psychology of the American subconscious to profit from your privilege and making a bag at the expense of old black fighters, made me real glad that a young one in his prime sat you on your pockets, Mr. Jake Paul. Go ahead and hold this L on behalf of the culture. That's just my thoughts. What are yours? Go ahead and tell me in the comment section. I'm Theo E.J. Wilson, aka Brother Tej. Like, follow, and share this message out. Holla back. Let's talk.